Welcome to Mina's Bookshelf and welcome to a walkthrough of the last reprint of the Tarot of Prague Standard Edition, standard size. This is an indie deck created by Karen Mahoney and Alexander Ukolov, published by Babarock Studio. As you probably know, Babarock Studio announced a while ago they would discontinue their tarot business. So this was probably one of the last opportunities for anyone to grab a copy of this beautiful deck, the Tarot of Prague. I don't know if this is the second, third, or fourth reprint of this deck. I have no idea. I only know that I already had a Deluxe Edition and that this deck is absolutely stunning and glorious, and also very generous in size. So we're gonna do a little bit of a side by side. This was the box for the Deluxe Limited Edition. We're gonna do a little bit of side by side to see if there are any differences between this edition and the standard size that was just released and delivered. I actually got this deck just yesterday. Okay, so we're going to put this to the side for right now. We're going to take a look at the box. It's a beautiful blue box with a nice latch here. They've been publishing the last few decks, the fourth edition of the Victorian Romantic and also the reprint of the Bohemian Gothic using these boxes. They are beautiful. However, I actually preferred their old way to package their decks. I was fond of those clamshell opening hard case boxes. For one simple reason, this is beautiful, don't get me wrong, but the inside is made of like very raw wood. So every time I try to pull this deck out of a box, I'm always afraid that I'm going to ruin, chip somehow the edges of these very precious cards. This is not a cheap deck. Okay, so I will almost probably store the deck in a nice soft velvety bag, but I do appreciate these boxes. They're really they're a beautiful keepsake way to present the deck, although not very practical for me at least. The good thing is that there is a room in these boxes to store some crystals if you like to store crystals with with your decks. I even managed to store in the boxes a selenite wand, which is pretty thick as you can tell, but I can still fit it without ruining the deck. I can fit it in the box. So let's see. This is the deck, the back of the deck. Nothing has really changed compared to the Deluxe Edition, except for the foiling. The cold stamping is more gold in this new standard size, and it's more like silver metal on the Deluxe, the old Deluxe Edition. They also announced a few changes in the cards. We'll see what these changes are. This is a beautiful RWS deck, RWS based, very easy to read. So I have to say, despite the oversized dimensions of the cards, nothing really ever prevented me from using this deck for readings on a not on a daily basis, but quite frequently, despite the fact that the deck is pretty big. But it's so beautiful and so easy to read, and the artwork is just amazing. It's a great reader. Great reader. Okay, they usually send you a couple of cards from other decks. We got 2 cards from the upcoming Bohemian Cats, or I think they have renamed the deck somehow. It's not exactly the Bohemian Cats, but it's a reprinting of that deck. I don't know if there will be any significant changes. And a card from the Alice Tarot, which they might, at some point they said they would. They might reprint in 2025 maybe. The deck comes with the usual art card here. The creators are Alex Ukoloff and Karen Mahoney. This beautiful European capital city has a sentimental value for Alex Ukoloff and Karen Mahoney, because I think that their business was initially based in Prague. And it's one of the most beautiful romantic art cities in the entire world, I would say. Very Parisian, if you're familiar with Paris or places like Rome or Florence. Beautiful. The artwork is a juxtaposition of images of Prague's architectural beauties and architectural landmarks, monuments, and the beautiful arts of this great city. And I love the way they incorporated and put everything together. Beautiful layers, beautiful layers. The cardstock is their usual cardstock, although in the Deluxe Edition the texture is smoother, but it's the matte texture here. No coating really on the cards, no edging. The cards are on the thin sides, flexible. Can I put this box here? Or let's see here. The book comes with a little white book and an extra extended guidebook that I already had because I purchased this with the Deluxe Edition. I haven't checked yet, so I'm not 100% sure, but the orders for this deck might still be open. You might still be able to grab a copy. This is the little white book, the Tarot of Prague, a tarot deck based on the art and architecture of the Magic City. It's a beautiful little introduction. Magic Prague, city of the Baroque and the Enlightenment, yet also a place of Gothic enchantment, alchemists and phantoms, the fantastic and fantastical. Ever since the reign of Emperor Rudolf II, who filled Prague Castle with curiosities and wonders and a succession of practitioners of astrology, astronomy, and alchemy, Prague has been known as a city steeped in art, esoterica, and the occult. The surrealist André Breton called it the Magic City, and this name is as true today as ever. Pretty much like Turin in northern Italy. A great hub for occult astrologers and practitioners of astronomy, alchemy, astrology, and the occult. They designed the Tarot Prague in 2002-2003 and wanted it to be a vibrant expression of the city in which we had recently come to live. The images are collaged from thousands of original photographs of the streets and houses, the murals and statues, manuscripts and drawings, and even from the games that make up Prague's rich visual treasury. Each card is a picture in its own right, and many are so strongly narrative they seem like illustrations from fairy tales that might have been, or traces of stories half remembered. Our 2016 edition was in part a farewell to the city as we finally moved the studio to Ireland, where they are currently based. It was also a thank you and a wish to return. Kafka was right. Prague doesn't let go, and we continue to love this place. So the booklet has the essential information about the cards, how to begin a reading, the Celtic cross, which I believe is the only spread suggested, and then right into the meaning of the cards. Oh, there is another another spread, the Prague Threshold spread. That's really nice. We might try it at the end if there is time. And then into the cards with a few keywords and a paragraph for each of them. And so also for the minor arcana, we have less text, just the keywords from what I see. Of course, if you make the investment to buy one of the Babarock Studios decks, you can invest $25 or $23 more. I don't remember exactly how much this was retailing for, and acquire also a copy of the guidebook, because it's beautiful, it's excellent. It explains a lot about the artwork, about what you're seeing. There are beautiful source references here, short interpretation, full interpretation of the card. So a great companion book to have for each of their beautiful decks. So let's get into the cards. 10 minutes after. So the Fool. What I noticed, the only most visible difference at first glance, it's about the saturation of the colors. Of course, in a smaller sized card, all the colors will be more intense. The hues will be deeper. So we're going to see deeper reds, deeper blues, deeper greens. I'm partial to the this edition. Of course, I like to see all these beautiful details in an enlarged card, and I also kind of prefer a little bit the lighter hues of the cards, the printing and the deluxe edition, but nonetheless it's beautiful version to look at. So we have the Fool, pretty much stays the same. Every once in a while I'll be tilting the cards to let you see how prevalent the cold stamping is. You have the Magician. Here too, nothing has really changed, remains the same. You can tell the difference in the intensity of the red in this robe here, the red robe. The High Priestess, one of my beautiful preferred cards, favorite cards, beautiful. See, this green is more intense here. The Empress as well stays the same. Oh, I forgot to give you an idea of how big the cards are. To begin with, the standard size of a Baba Studio deck is a little bit wider and taller than a regular, let's say, US Games standard mass market edition. So the cards are always a little wider than what we typically get in a mass market deck, or in many indie editions of other decks. These cards are kind of oversized to begin with, and these cards here are humongous, but as I said, yet manageable. They pretty much cover my entire hand and something also, a part of my wrist. So we have the Emperor. The red robe comes through more as orangey in the deluxe edition. The Hierophant, I love to see the books in my Hierophant card. For me, this is a card of knowledge, higher learning, wisdom, dogma, traditions. And I love to see how the books sometimes can really help you give some more nuanced interpretation to the cards. Then we have the Lovers card. So we have two, in the deluxe edition, we had two versions of the Lovers. Let's see if we have two also here. No, only one. This one. Nothing better here below. Then we have the Chariot. The Strength card. This is one of my all-time favorite Strength cards. Beautiful. The Hermit. See the gold stamping, how beautiful. Let's say that the gold stamping is more pronounced in this version, in the new standard edition. The Wheel of Fortune, the Justice card, the Hangman, beautiful Hangman, with the sun as a symbol of illumination and mental breakthrough. Now for the cards, we have 2 in the Deluxe Edition. This is my favorite. I'm not big on skulls and stuff like that. Sapies si consulis istos. You will learn more, you will become wiser, you will learn, you will know if you consult this. This is what this Latin inscription says. And we have 2 versions of the Death card here too. Same. Yeah. This one comes through like very dark. But that's okay, because this is what you want in the Death card, right? A little bit of darkness. A touch of gothic tones. Then we have the beautiful Temperance, a lot of gold in this card. The Devil. The Tower. The Star. The Moon, also one of my favorite cards in the deck. So her entire dress is gold stamped, and also the lobster here. Okay, so here we have a change. For the Sun card, we have a traditional child on horseback in the Deluxe Edition, and the adult here in the new reprint. Now, they probably listened to so many critiques of this card. A lot of people don't like to see a little kid here. I don't know why, because for me, this is exactly how the Sun card should be. This is purity of heart, it's innocence, it's the happiness, joyous happiness that kids can experience better than the adults do. So for me, this was the favorite version of the card. Yeah, beautiful. So yeah, it's still beautiful card. Then we have Judgment. We have the World. And then we have an extra card in this new reprinting. It's the Prudence card that we don't have in the previous edition here in the Deluxe Edition. Prudence. Let's see in the guidebook what this card stands for. Restraint, being careful and considered, a wise caution, exercising good judgment in managing events or resources, self-discipline, and looking before you leap. We decided to revive the Prudence card for this version of the Tarot Prague, as many readers found it useful. Probably it was in the very original, the very first printing of this release of this deck. We decided to revive the Prudence card for this version of the Tarot Prague, as many readers found it useful. It also has some historical precedent, as some older decks, did include a Prudence card. One can, of course, decide whether or not to leave it in the deck for readings. And I decided to keep it in the deck because it really is a good card. It's like a warning, caution card for the reader, for the receiver of any reading that I do. Originally, if you look at the antique Italian tarot decks, the major arcana were actually the depiction of the 14th, I believe, virtues, like temperance and strength, and I think that Prudence was one of them. So it was a great addition to this deck. And then we have the minor arcana. Minor Arcana. We're going to the Wands. Two of Wands. I think that everything pretty much will stay the same for the Minor Arcana. I don't remember seeing anything different. Four of Wands. Five of Wands. Six of Wands. Seven of Wands. Yeah, definitely the cold stamping is more pronounced on this version, on the smaller sized. Oh, doggy. Eight of Wands. Nine of Wands, beautiful card. Now, I do believe that in the expanded guidebook, you will be able to get informations about all these beautiful landscapes, architectural landscapes and landmarks that you see as a backdrop to the cards, and information about monuments. Oh, beautiful. This is the page. Then we have this glorious card, the Knight. The Queen of Wands. Good cheer and let us be joyful. This is what you read on the bottom of the card. See how the colors are more intense here, deeper, darker. And this is all cold stamping. All her dress is cold stamped. And the King. And then the Ace of Cups. It's interesting, there's not a cup, but there is a lion. The Two of Cups. The Three of Cups. The Four of Cups. This is an interesting card because it looks like it's a one of those murals made with a lot of little tiny pieces. The Five of Cups. The Six of Cups. The Seven of Cups. The Eight of Cups. So a mixture of realistic photographic images and details from paintings and monuments and sculptures and statues. Well played, well played. The 9 and the 10. I always thought that this 10 of Cups was more similar to a 10 of Pentacles than to a traditional 10 of Cups because of the elderly man, head of the family. The only thing that is missing here is the dog, and it would look like a 10 of Pentacles. And we have the Page. The Knight. What an interesting statue. The Queen. Beautiful. The King. One of my favorite cards, the Ace of Swords. I love it with this beautiful sunset here. The Two of Swords. the Three of Swords, that despite the tragic energy that comes through the card, it's still one of my favorite in the deck. I really liked how they did this one. The Four of Swords, a beautiful stained glass window, exactly as the traditional RWS. As I said, this is such an easy deck to read, and it can be and it should be used as a workhorse if you can handle it with care. This is an expensive deck, it really is. When we have the Six of Swords, the Deception of the Seven of Swords, the Eight of Swords, the Nine of Swords, and the 10. Really nice. We don't have the new dawn shining in the background as a symbol of hope after the hurdles and the turmoil of disappointing situations, life situations. But we have a full moon shrouded in clouds. She looks like she's peacefully sleeping. Then we have the page. I like this page. I like the details of the buildings. The Knight. The horses are completely cold stamped, but more visible in this one, of course. The Queen. The King of Swords. And then we have the Pentacles. Love this card. I love the way the Pentacles have been portrayed, depicted, with a face, a sunflower, chiseled in the coin here. So we have 2 of coins. As you can see, there are no words on any of the minor arcana. We only have the number here on the corner and the symbol of the suit here in the other corner, which I like. When you fan the cards, you know, it's nice to see the numbers like on playing cards. 3 of coins, and I do believe that this is Mozart. Let's use this card as a reference to read from the guidebook, so I can show you how the expanded guidebook reads. The 3 of Pentacles. Let's see if yes, it's Mozart. A man in Baroque dress stands outside the theater. He is, of course, Mozart, and the theater is the Estates Theater, where the opera Don Giovanni was first performed. Above him is a sign showing 3 violins and 3 pentacles. Short interpretation. The 3 of Pentacles shows not merely achievement, but perhaps even fame, renown and glory in all your chosen skills or professions. This has not been achieved overnight, but is the result of hard work, commitment, planning, and teamwork. Now that the level of accomplishment has been recognized, remember how many people contributed to it and take pride in what's been achieved. The full interpretation, we have a few keywords. Skill and craftsmanship, attainment, being famed for your abilities, being justifiably proud of your work, the maestro. Above all, this card stands for accomplishment through teamwork. It may indicate a trade or skilled labor, especially if it involves teamwork and planning, or it may even mean skills in more artistic pursuits. Regardless of the particular field of achievement, it is likely to demand technical skills such as that needed by a musician, a highly trained painter, or a classical dancer. This is not a card of effortless talent. It very much implies that even with the kind of innate genius of a Mozart, real mastery can only be achieved through commitment and hard work. This card is thus often about a very high level of competence, but also sometimes stands for fame, renown, and glory achieved through hard work. It's important to recognize that while this is a card of the maestro, it is never about the solitary genius. The Three of Pentacles always carries the recognition that even when an achievement looks like the work of an individual, many other people have contributed. And how did they convey this idea in a card? I mean, we only see Mozart as the only ingenious, hardworking, talented, gifted person here in the picture. But in the background, we have a theater, and a theater doesn't run itself. It's not one person running the whole business. There's an entire team of people that make sure that the theater runs, the performances on a theater stage happen successfully and flawlessly. Very, very nice. Let's see if there's anything else in the back of this page. Actually keeps going. It's pretty long, so it's a beautiful book. If you have a chance to acquire this deck, make yourself a favor, do yourself a favor and purchase the book as well. The image on the Rider-Waite-Smith version of the Three of Pentacles shows a mason at work in a church or cathedral. We decided to change this a little and use the idea of craftsmanship and skill in music rather than in masonry. Music has played a particularly important role in the cultural history of Prague, and we simply couldn't leave Mozart out of the deck, etc., etc. Then we have the sources that explain what the artwork they included in the card comes from, and then some more information about the Mozart in Prague. Very nice. The pictures are in black and white. And I don't know if it's always the case on older guidebooks. I do believe that I have a few more big guidebooks for the decks, and some of them might have those thumbnails in color, not in black and white. Moving on, we have the Four of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles. The Six of Pentacles. The Seven of Pentacles, the Eight of Pentacles. So very interesting. I don't know what these are. Maybe we'll take a look at the guidebook and investigate what this iron gate is and what are these little characters here. Then we have the Nine of Pentacles with this beautiful honeybee on top as a symbol of productivity and hard work. The Ten of Pentacles. Now, as you remember, I made you notice how the Ten of Cups in this deck looks a lot like the traditional Ten of Coins with the elderly head of the family, and then husband and wife and kids. And here we have the family, no kids, however, but we have a warrior here in a suit of armor and a dog. Then we have the page, the student card with all these beautiful books in the background. I love this card. The Knight of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles with a ram instead of a rabbit, and a cornucopia here, and the King completely covered in gold, of course, the King of Pentacles. All right, so this is the Deluxe Edition. Can be, the only way it can be shuffled is with a side shuffle. At least for me, there's no other way. This deck has a weight. You can actually feel it. It's pretty heavy in your hands. It's a lot of paper in here. But let's take a look at how the Standard Edition shuffles. This is the first time that I shuffle. I'm going to be very careful with these cards. We already read a card from the guidebook, and I just wanted to take a look at that Eight of Pentacles. We have the star here, beautiful. That let's see how it looks on the little guidebook. The star card. For the star, we have hope, recovery and healing, generosity, peace and calm, light at the end of the tunnel. You're experiencing encouragement, faith, hope, good health, and general well-being. And it's a wonderful feeling. The star means all of these good things together, with the ability to remain tranquil and optimistic in both good times and bad times. It's a card that signifies openness and ability to see the truth behind the surface. So use this time to accomplish your dreams, because the hope and inspiration that you feel right now will make many things possible. If you go in the guidebook, the big guidebook, you get a lot more, of course. So you get 1, 2, 2.5 pages. A woman sits calmly pouring water from 2 jugs. Behind her is the figure of another woman who kneels beside a fountain that has the head of a benevolent-looking lion. On a pillar in the distance there is a strange inscription that is a palindrome, and so can be read in either directions. Also, in the back of the deck, all around the card, there is a palindrome. Roma tibis ubit homo. And then the same thing, you can read Roma tibis ubit homo.